Hello, beautiful family. This is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling for the next few days and, well, around. Thank you for tuning in with me. Blessed be this present moment for you and for all. So, we've just entered Virgo season. We had this new moon in Virgo on the 0 degree. I will speak to this in a moment. We are having today, as I record this, the exact square of the Sun and Urano. So, before we carry on, let us just take a deep breath because we have officially entered eclipse season. Perhaps you felt it. It felt like this wave of energy that just entered a few days ago. I think that's what we will be elaborating throughout this period. So 0 is pure potential. That's where the new moon we had yesterday began. The first of 2 new moons we will have in Virgo, and this is the space before something takes shape. It is like really standing in front of a new reality, a threshold that doesn't require us to know everything. It is quite an imperfect beginning, perhaps. It's only asking our devotion to what is true and what is important. Urano in the square, because Urano is in a square to the has been in a square to this new moon, is really this urge to free ourselves from outdated patterns, to do things differently, to heal our perception, to reimagine life so we can build it day by day. When there are very strong activations of Urano, like we have right now, we feel quite agitated, like our nervous system gets in this alert mode and our bodies feel tired. Sometimes we don't sleep well. So there's a lot of emotional undulations going on because this is a process of purification and it's deeply emotional. How I see it, in order to really free these emotional states or these that feels sometimes like residual energy, too much energy inside, it is through feeling it in our bodies, like allowing it to move through our bodies and to be released outside of our bodies. By simply being present, breathing, and trusting in this change, we are the alchemists right now. This new reality is truly already taking form inside of you. So we are in front of an opening of two months, 2 lunar months with Virgo, to truly cleanse. It's like a purge of old habits, routines. It has a lot to do with our health in every dimension, to reborn the way, to be reborn into how we offer and receive service, I would say. I must say, Virgo, in this accelerated revolutionary process of change, speaks to me of very tangible changes in our lives, in our daily lives, in our lifestyles, how we live life. So we're moving from a more, I guess, philosophical and abstract idea of change into a more practical and concrete way of changing reality right now. It's not only about communing with a certain idea or vision, it's about manifesting this with integrity through our thought, words, emotion, and actions. Truly become who we are and humbly and honorably be of service, because we are here to be of service to these transitional times. So this new moon that happened on the 23rd of August at the 0 degree, in the school of purity itself, it's really a seed, an intent to renew the vows of service in our lives. We are changing, no? I think it's very pertinent to look deeper into how we understand service and see if there are still underlying layers of sacrifice or martyrdom or suffering or servilism or compliancy or victimization, because this is precisely what we are cleansing, so we can enter a new understanding of what service means and what we are serving, who we are serving, and how. Is my job my service, for example? No, there is a challenge in this space of how we live life and what we do with our lives, how we experience discipline, how we organize ourselves in time and space within this time frame that is a day, for example, and a very strong pull into coming back into natural time and natural order, because this is a path towards well-being. Truly, when we walk life at the rhythm of our bodies, the earth and the sky, we experience health, and this is a healing journey. This state of equilibrium comes from this attuning ourselves to these natural rhythms. And we are going to be looking at whether our lifestyle supports this or not. To truly live aligned to the heart, how I see it, is to feel joyful when we wake up to be of service, and not because there aren't challenges in our lives, but because we have a deep sense of meaning and purpose, a transcendental purpose that provides us with the resilience and the inspiration to go through the challenges. I hope I'm making sense to you. So, the most important dialogue in this sky, as I mentioned, is the square to Urano in Gemini. And this is a lot. So, the practical, maybe our mostly our apprehension to control is being challenged by the disruptive energy of Urano, who is precisely the one who breaks continuity or continuum, who breaks patterns, so we can reweave life in synchronicity with, as I said, natural time. Urano is about innovation in our lives. It's a wake-up call to awareness, to consciousness. It's calling us into evolution, into breaking whatever loop we have been trapped in this artificial time and routines. And it is truly an assistance for us to actually change how we are living our lives. And this energy, of course, aims to the future through being present. The ruler of Virgo is Mercury, and the ruler of Gemini is Mercury as well. So there's a very, like, he's a very main character in our skies. Mercury is the ruler of communication, thought, perception, beliefs, words, narratives, exchange of ideas. So to me, it also speaks of this very deep mental cleansing or mental purge, hygiene, mental health. In times of Urano in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius, which is not um, not a small energy. I think this is gonna make evident the hypnosis state, the compulsion, and the illusion of living this double life that we live, the digital and the organic one. So this is a seed that is happening in the amidst the great, great energy that these transpersonal planets are flowing in. These small trine of talents with Saturn, Neptune in Aries, with Pluto in Aquarius, with Urano in Gemini. They are truly transforming everything. So they are adding up their talents, but let us remember what their talents are. It's metamorphosis, it's disruptive change, and it's the dissolving of a structure of identity so we can redream ourselves into being. So that's the talents that we are receiving from them. In September, I must say, I have spoken to this before. I feel like there is this recoiling of the energy because we have been in this wave of future through this season, but we have Saturn coming back into Pisces. Uranus is going to start its retrograde motion. We have the eclipses. So I think there is a pulling ourselves back so we can actually integrate and finish this last stage of purging and integration of 2025 as this big transitional year. So with Virgo, I would say small, constant, sustainable actions. Now, with a lot of space for life to surprise us and to bring about its plot twists, and truly listening to the calling of the North Node in Pisces, which is about acceptance and surrender to whatever this divine wisdom is proposing in our lives, orchestrating in our lives. Going back to Mercury in Leo as a ruler of this energy, I think the elaboration, the work of cleansing our beliefs, our belief systems, and see, it's Mercury in Leo. Leo is the heart. This creating the coherent state, the bridge between our heart and our minds. This is very much the calling of the season. No, this state of integrating the intelligence of our minds and the intelligence of our hearts. Mainly, I would say, bowing our heads to our hearts so we can actually listen. Because the shadow side of Mercury in Leo is about, it's a fixed fire, no? So it's very stubborn. And he might think he already knows. And therefore, I find it important to mention that we ought to make room for listening, not only for speaking. So we can, like, really synchronize this new vows of service with the noble calling of our hearts. Now, service is to be expressed through humility, discernment, and this deliverance from our hearts. There is certain there is a lot of discomfort, not certain now. A lot of discomfort in the sky. We do have a finger of God, a finger of destiny as well, pointing to this new moon, coordinated by Pluto and Saturn and Neptune. Nevertheless, so there is this, so the this quincunxes, or this finger of God, is like having, like feeling a blind spot and not quite knowing where this discomfort is coming from, but it's pointing to this new moon in Virgo that really points to our daily lives and how we are or not living in integrity there. I think the heart is really running the show if we allow it, because there is this beautiful mutuality between Mercury in Leo, which is the sign of the sun, and the sun in Virgo, which is the sign of Mercury. See, so they are like in this longing to collaborate, a longing of integration of the heart and the mind. I think we're entering a time of devotion, of retrieving what is sacred in life, not from the distortion of the spiritual market, but through genuine communion with the moment, with our relationships, with the earth, with our breath. It is not a time to dissociate from life at all, or from real life. The revolution happens here, no, in the choices we make, moment after moment, about where we put our attention and therefore our energy. And this is how we retrieve sovereignty and true health as an act of rebellion. This is the central idea I hear from this new moon in Virgo, a very profound emotional and spiritual experience, because we are through Virgo, which is precisely an archetype that holds space spiritually and physically. We will enter this eclipse as the first eclipse in Pisces in about 2 weeks, and then a second eclipse in Virgo as well. So this is an axis of existence, of health, of service and devotion. Now, coming into the immediate energy for the next few days, for the week, in this last week of August. My God, August has felt like 3 months in one. So I won't speak to the perception of time being all crazy, but I do want to mention this. I think it's worth it to notice the amount of processes we are going through and the time and the capacity we have acquired to actually integrate and transform continuously. I bring this because I have heard and felt in my one-on-one sessions and in my groups, hearts that are in a need to recognize and integrate the maturity of the path we have been walking, you know, to fully arrive to where we are. And this gives us strength. It gives us security as well. Of course, the journey will carry on with whatever we need to go through. But I think dignifying our path and being thankful to our hearts, to our bodies, and feeling like we count with ourselves and recognizing ourselves through the journey will allow us to stop looking for validation and even information in this very compulsive manner outside, sorry, and trusting our own wisdom. I'm bringing this because this week, on the 25th of August, Venus is going to enter Leo. The sun just moved out of Leo, right? So Leo is the energy about our personal radiance, our creativity, our passion of being, the expression of our authenticity. And it's beautiful because from Leo we move into Virgo, where with humility we put all of this energy, of this brightness, of this sun energy of our hearts, we put it in service, in a more practical oriented way to manifest. So let me just recap. We already had this year Mercury retrograde in Leo, remember? This reflecting upon what truly motivates me to express, like listening to the heart calling, living from the heart. And I don't want to make this very long, but we did have Mars retrograde in Leo and opposing Pluto this year as well. So by this, I mean, we have been working on this from different subtle nuances of perspective, so we can actually embody this Leo energy from a different place, no, from the dream of our hearts and not the dream of our egos, to like really recovering the importance of everything that has a heartbeat, and attuning ourselves with the heartbeat of the earth and the skies and the universe in our own heart chakra, this portal space where we unify the above and the below. So yes, everything is love in its deep tissue. No, love as a frequency that I believe we have forgotten how to love. We have forgotten the vastity, the wideness of love, minimizing it into romantic love. And I think this is a time to be the remembers of true love, because Venus is precisely the planet associated with love, and now she's entering the heart sign, Leo. No, so it's an opening of the heart into new levels of understanding or remembering. So the thing is, Venus, enters Leo, and she immediately enters the conversation with these three transpersonal planets. So first, let's go by parts. No, she makes a trine to Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Remember, they have this complicity right now where they are dissolving the structure of identity and the structure of reality for us to retrieve sovereignty and the I am that I am, and so we can conceive this new world. So Venus now, in an alliance with them, enters the realms of relationships, values, finances, creativity, beauty, self-love, self-value, and every form of relationship is now part of this narrative of dissolving identities to be reborn from the truth of our hearts. Then Venus is going to also talk the same day in a sextile to Urano. This is a very like a proposition now with the planet of innovation that is infusing freedom, or the need for freedom, genuine freedom, exciting the heart, inviting us to connect with universal love and to learn to love ourselves, and through this love freeing ourselves and freeing our relationships as well. And last but not least, she's going to oppose Pluto in Aquarius. So usually when we get this opposition Venus Pluto, it's really like we get to see with full transparency this version of love that controls, that competes, that manipulates, that possesses, that victimizes, that gets really attached. We will be confronted with this distortion of love. So, to summarize, there will be circumstances in relationships where, I mean, the first relationship I think we ought to revisit is with ourselves, and then with everything and everyone else. So relationships are facing this future, these planets of the future, and they are letting us know that there is no admittance to this falsity in terms of what we call love. No, so there is change, there is transformation, there is dissolution being delivered to Venus, I mean to us, so we can be truly rebirthed into our heart frequency. And this might mean there's a lot that needs to die, to be dissolved and transformed. We are in Virgo season, we are in eclipse season, which speaks to a new order, a purification of sorts. And with Venus entering Leo this week, yes, the end of August has the main focus on relationships and honesty. The other thing that happens this week, which is beautiful, is the perfect sextile between Urano and Neptune. We have been feeling this all through the summertime, but this becomes exact on the 28th of August. So these both planets, for this shamanic astrology, we understand them to live and to rule in what we call the upper world or the upper realm. I associate this dialogue, like what came to me is like gamma frequency, gamma waves, this gamma high frequency is what I think we can access through this contact, if we are receptive, of course, because it allows a new comprehension, it expands consciousness, and it allows us to experience unity without losing individuality, in full trust and serene trust as well, that everything that is moving has a purpose. It allows for this state of interconnection. So I think it's quite interesting, because everything that Venus does, like, makes evident where there isn't true love, and yet they really bring in the frequency of unconditional love and connection to everything. It feels as if the answer and the question come together, or like the disruption of the pattern and the new path happens simultaneously, if we cultivate enough calmness to notice, to allow, and to then choose how to direct our energy, attuning ourselves to this creative creation song, really, instead of being in dissonance with it. So I know it sounds simple. It's not. To accept what is, to accept to surrender, to feel, to integrate, to trust, to keep ourselves grounded while we download vision. It is quite natural, but we do not live in natural time. So, as I said at the beginning, it might be an imperfect beginning, and it's okay. It is enough to commit to presence and to be present. I would insist in taking care of our energy, in taking care of the overstimulation through everything. We are entering, as I said, this last phase of purification and integration. So let us be gentle and loving with our process and with our relationships. So that's what I have for this week, beautiful family. And yes, I wish for you joy and peace in your hearts, in your days, full trust in that whatever is moving and changing is truly for the highest good of your experience and of life itself. Blessings. Tlazokamati.